continuing in a sense with people who really need care. And there's no one that's going to give better care in the home on an ongoing basis, and it's companions. And you have to be careful because there are many places that offer companion services. But I can really highly recommend Seniors Helping Seniors under the care, or let's say that the Jim Hansen, who oversees development in South Florida for Seniors Helping Seniors. Good morning, Jim. I know you're not here in you're not here in South Florida. You're in North Florida, right?
I'm in West Florida at the moment. I'm over on the West Coast.
The West Coast. You know, it's funny, Jim. I have some friends over there, and they call it the best coast.
Well, I think no matter where you are in Florida, it's the best place compared to the rest of the country.
That's true. So, Seniors Helping Seniors. We just got finished with a whole show that Dr. Mencia was talking about home care and how he, as a professional, serves people in their homes. In fact, he just hired someone that will help him now to do all those arrangements. And nothing is better than Seniors Helping Seniors, the companionship of seniors helping seniors, not young kids or people who don't belong there. And you are so careful about who you hire to bring into people's homes, aren't you?
We are. Anita, there's a huge difference in the kind of home care you can receive, from somebody who really understands what your life is, like a senior. Certainly we try to find people that have a little age under their belt, so to speak, and what we try to do is match them with seniors who want to remain independent in their home but need a little help from a friend. And so we are very, of course, we go through all the things where we run a criminal background check, a level 2, as a matter of fact, which is an FBI check, because down here in Florida, you've got a lot of people that are coming from other parts of the country, so, you don't want to just do a state background check because you don't know what they did in another state. So we're very cautious of that. We make sure that all of our people that we send out to loved ones are bonded, we're insured. Of course, we're also licensed by the state, so we're very cautious of that. But the one thing that we try to do is and I think I've said this before, but it's always worth re-saying. We look for people that have a volunteer heart that don't mind getting paid to do what we have them do. And that's what gives us that community of loving, caring, compassionate people who really want to help first, and then we certainly want to help them, with their income. But their main reason for doing this is the love that they have for our senior population.
And I so appreciate what you just said, because when you and I were talking, I don't know if we went over this. I know you know it, but I wanted to just tell it to everyone else. Unfortunately, we have many seniors who still want to work, but they'll say to me, "Oh, well, forget it. Once you're 55 or 60, no one's going to hire you." And I keep saying that's not true. And here is a perfect example of a company that wants the seniors. If you're too young, they're not going to hire you. And so if you you're a senior and you want to be with other people as a friend, in the sense of just doing things that are going to make their life happier and healthier, here's your chance, right, Jim?
You're absolutely, and it's not anything that requires more than life training. As a matter of fact, the older you are, the more life experience and training you have, so the better you are for this position. I mean, we just have you do things that you would do for a loved one, and you companionship is such a huge part of it, because think about all the wisdom. I wish that I should really start writing a book and taking the stories from not only the people that we care for, but the people that are, caring for them. We call them our providers because they provide services to our clients, which we call receivers because they receive it. But it's things like companionship, light housekeeping, meal preparation. taking them shopping, taking them to the doctors, you know, doing laundry, all the things that family members in today's society are burdened with. But they need some help because they're busy with their own children. So it's a challenge for children today that have aging parents that have their own family. I call it the sandwich generation, but you've got that tsunami of silver-haired people that we've got baby boomers turning at the rate of 10,000 people a day turning 65 in this country. They have so much to offer, so much to give back, so many great stories, and so much love to give. And that's one of the things that I think is a real differentiation with what we try to do. We center our whole agency on the power of love. As a matter of fact, our company thought so highly of it that we registered the trademark, the power of love, because it is it's something that is so strong. As a matter of fact, I'll share with you something that I wrote, just recently, but I think it says it so well. It's Pierre Chardin said that someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tide, and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And then for a second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire.
Very nice. You're a philosopher with all this other. My guest is James Hansen, actually, and he oversees development in South Florida of the Seniors Helping Seniors, and it is a franchise organization. So, besides being a senior wanting to help seniors, you can also consider this as a business if it's something you're interested in, and you would call him. Let me give you a phone number to talk with Jim. Number's 561-392-4846. That's 561-392-4846. If you wanted to see more about Seniors Helping Seniors, their website is just quite comprehensive. It's seniorshelpingseniors.com. Easy enough to remember that. Jim, I was thinking about a couple of things. There are people whom I want to join my husband and myself when we go out at night to go to the theater, go enjoy ourselves. And they say, I can't drive, I can't see at night. And if they live close by, it's no problem for me to pick them up and take them. But some of them live, 20, 30 miles away. So they literally become prisoners at home at night. And if they had your services, let's say they brought someone in even just once a week or twice a week, 4 hours, that person would do a lot of stuff at home for them and also take them to these events, wouldn't they?
They would. And, that's a great point, Anita. What we try to do is we try to bundle as many of our services as we can, because we know that everybody is, budget conscious today. So what we try to do, I'll give you an example. If we've got to take somebody to a doctor's appointment, we'll come a little bit early, and while we're there, we'll ask them if they have laundry that needs to be done. So maybe we'll strip their beds, put everything in the washing machine, get that started, check to see if there's any groceries that they may need. Then we'll take them to the doctor's office. And then when they're at the doctor's office, not only do we one of the things that's different from many, well, for example, a taxi will drop you off in front of the doctor's office, and then you've got to call a taxi when you're done, and maybe wait an hour before a taxi gets there. We don't do that. We bring our client right into the doctor's office. We walk in with them. If the family desires, we'll even go into the doctor's office with them and take notes so that we understand exactly what's going on, so that we can be an advocate for that particular client. Then when they leave the doctor's office, we'll go and pick up any prescriptions that they might have gotten from the doctor, and we'll stop at the grocery store. We'll pick up the groceries that are needed. We'll bring them home. We'll put the groceries away. We'll put the laundry back into the dryer, get that going. And while we're doing that, we'll pick up the house a little bit and maybe prepare a couple of meals for them, and then make the beds and then get out of there. But we've done a lot of different things that really help that person just get along with their everyday life. And in the meantime, our companions are talking and interacting and being able to communicate because they understand what our seniors are going through, because they're young, active seniors themselves whose parents were probably the age of the people that they're now taking care of. So, it's a real win-win situation. The active senior, like you said, who people say have no longer a purpose, we put meaning and purpose back into their life. And at the same time, we're able to keep our seniors in their home, independent, with the dignity and the respect that they so much deserve. And it's just a wonderful combination that happens. And, the other thing that's unique, too, is, and I don't want to be disparaging to any other agency that's out there. I just want to show the difference. I have young daughters that are in their late 20s, and they certainly can sympathize with our senior population. But they have no empathy because they haven't gone through any of the things that our seniors are going through themselves. And the other difference is when we go out to a grocery store or taking them out, for a walk or whatever, it doesn't look like a young age that's having to help. It really looks like maybe a neighbor or a friend. So what that does is that the senior that's our client doesn't feel stigmatized. They don't feel embarrassed. They're able to go out because it looks like a friend helping a friend. And that makes such a big difference in the way that our services are provided.
Well, I have to say, and you didn't probably have an opportunity to hear Dr. Mencia's interview just before you, but he was talking about a woman who was living in a 55-plus community, and she needed some home services from a nurse. And so Dr. Mencia was providing that. And finally, some of her neighbors came over and said, is something wrong with you? And maybe you should be moving away. And she said to Dr. Mencia, get rid of the nurse. I don't want anyone coming because they all think that I have a problem. And when you said that, because I'm sure she came in her little white uniform, and it's exactly what you were saying. Nobody should know what's going on in your home.
No, and we do that on purpose. We don't come in any uniform. We don't come with a car that has, our name written on the side of it. We really want to honor the privacy of our clients. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable. It just is, again, we want to offer all the services to stay in your home, to live independendly. And, the thing that I love about my job is I wear a lot of hats. To your point, Anita, we're matter of fact, we'll be opening up a new center in Pompano in a couple of months. We just got some new franchise partners that are going through our corporate training, and they'll be hoping to open up sometime in early April.
Excellent.
We have, we are, just to give you, here on the East Coast of Florida, we have services through Seniors Helping Seniors from Brevard County up in Melbourne Beach all the way down to now down through Fort Lauderdale. We still have we still have 3 franchises available in the Broward County area. So again, if there's anybody that's interested in talking to me about a business opportunity that is a passion of yours, it's an important thing. The first thing you've got to decide is that, is this the kind of business that you can be passionate about? But if that's the case, then, we have an opportunity. We go through a lengthy due diligence process to make sure that, it's the right fit for our community and that our business is the right fit for the individual. But what I love about what I do is, I'm constantly expanding my reach, because as we open up franchises, I just was up in Orlando this yesterday. Spent all day with a franchise partner, going through her territory and helping her to build her business. Over here now in the Fort Myers area, we have another franchise partner in Fort Myers that's doing a tremendous job. So my goal is that Seniors Helping Seniors will be the leading in-home non-medical care companionship service in the state of Florida within the next 3 years. So it's a lofty goal, but I think that once people find out why we're different and how we do things, it just makes a huge impact.
Well, I think people who read the article you wrote in the Boomer Times in February can see why you feel this way because of the founder, Karen Yoakum, who is certainly a real leader and someone who had this deep feeling to help people even when she was a young child and working with Mother Teresa all those years. And then she decided to start a company. It couldn't be anything less.
You can't get much better than being mentored by Mother Teresa when you're looking for love and compassion. I think that Mother Teresa epitomizes it. I don't think there's anybody I've ever spoken to, no matter what their background, doesn't admire the works that she did. And for Karen to work with her for 14 years, and Mother Teresa pouring that love and compassion into Karen, who then, came here and started pouring it into our senior population. It truly makes us a very unique brand in this arena. So it's wonderful for me because, as I shared with you, I got involved in this because of the care that I was able to provide to my grandmother and to my father and my mother and my aunt. So when I found Seniors Helping Seniors, it just got my heartstrings, and that was it. From that point on, I was hooked, and I just want to continue to expand the brand here in Florida because I don't think there's anything better than what we do and how we do it.
I can attest to that, and anyone would be very fortunate if you need this kind of care. Definitely, please call Seniors Helping Seniors. It's a way to give and to receive, and it's 561-392-4846. That's the phone number, 561-392-4846, and go online to seniorshelpingseniors.com. I think, Jim, if it weren't started by Karen, you would have started something like that because you do have such a beautiful heart, and we're so pleased that that you're working with us because we feel the same way. I think I started Boomer Times and many, many years ago because I had such a love for the senior population, and people didn't seem to care, and that's why I guess I have done a lot and hopefully have made a difference in people's lives because we all of us have had, if we've been fortunate enough to have grandparents and parents, and then as years went by, they did need help, and if they didn't have their family members, I've seen some things that were just horrible that happened to them, and they didn't deserve that. And you're not very expensive. People can, even if someone has a couple of days a week, I mean, that's all it could take for someone really to work and help them. Look, if you can afford 5 days a week, 7 days a week, fine. But if you can't, don't be afraid to make that call. Jim will figure out a way to get you the best services for the least amount of money, least amount of time it will take. Any time is better than no time.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't take a lot. The one thing that our seniors need is something to look forward to. And if they know that a friend is coming by in a couple of days, they're fine. And we can get in there and do some of the things. Sometimes it's simple things like, we went into one of our clients' homes and she had 2 torn rotator cuffs in her shoulders. So it was impossible for her to change her linens. She was able to get around her apartment fine, but, we went in the first time and her kitchen was filled with garbage bags. And I said, why are all these garbage bags here? And she says, well, I can't lift the garbage bag the trash chute is too high, and I can't, with my shoulders, I can't lift them. And I said, well, let me take care of them. And within 5 minutes, I walked down the hallway through about 20 bags of trash into the trash chutes. And I came back, and she's crying in her apartment. I said, why are you crying? She goes, those have been here for a month. And
Jim.
I am so happy.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, she's happy because somebody came and took out her trash. And imagine what we could do for somebody besides just, taking out the trash. But that was such a simple example of, one of the things that we do. I'll give you a quick story. Well, it's an emotional story, but, we had a client that was in the fourth stage of lung cancer. And when I went to the home, he was in a fetal position facing the wall, completely separated from his family. And we brought in a caregiver, Bill, and because they both had military background, and as they found out that they both enjoyed cars, well, Bill started bringing. They loved to build cars when they were younger, and Bill brought in a model car kit. And on his own, this is what our caregivers do. And Bill and John started building the model car, and at the end, they finished it. And the family was amazed because they'd come home, and all of a sudden, the father was at the kitchen table with Bill building these cars and interacting. And he was no longer facing the wall. And they ended up building 2 cars, and sadly we lost John. And when they asked Bill to go and say some words at his funeral, and that's when Bill broke into tears because there on the casket were the 2 model cars that him and John had built during the time that John had come in and worked.
What a great story! Oh my heavens! What a great story. And I know that you probably have so many of them, and that's why you do what you do. And I know for those of you who have heard of James Hansen, James is really a very powerful businessman, and he's done some pretty big things. And when I first heard that he's doing seniors helping seniors, I'm saying, wonder what happened there. And then he told me the story about having to help his family members and realizing there really weren't any places out there doing it the right way, at least according to his standards. And then he did a lot of research, went and found Seniors Helping Seniors and met the founder and fell in love with what she does and who she is, and decided, okay, that's what my calling is. I think you see this as a calling, actually.
I do. I do. I put my head down on the pillow every night, and I just thank God for giving me the opportunity to help others, helping to build I help my business partners, my franchise partners build their business, and they are helping people all over. I don't stop there. I get involved in the community. I'm a very active member of the Boca Chamber, which I recommend to everybody. And also, I just was again on the Alzheimer's committee for a walk that's going to be coming up in September. And just a plug again to we're having a garden luncheon on March 27th at the Boca West Country Club. If anybody wants more information on that, you can reach me at jimhelpingseniors@att.net. That's my email address, so it's pretty easy to remember, jimhelpingseniors@att.net. And what's exciting about that is, we've got a keynote speaker, Dr. David Watson, who has been involved in over 300 clinical trials for the treatment and prevention of Alzheimer's over the past 20 years. He's the keynote speaker. So not only will it be something that will aid Alzheimer's, but it'll be a great education for people in the community. So I can't do enough for that because it's such an insidious disease and affecting so many of our family members out there today. So we take care of that as well. We can be the eyes and the ears and the hands and the heart when that family member can't be there.
Well, I could just think on my one hand of so many instances where people should be calling you. It's, independence is an interesting word, and I know we're running out of time, but some people think independence is not having anyone help them. That's wrong. Independence is having someone help you so that you can become more independent. And so if you wanted to go shopping and you can't drive, or if you wanted to go visit a friend, you wanted to go to the movies, or you wanted someone to come in a few hours in the morning, they would, as Jim said, change your beds, clean your refrigerator out, do all sorts of things that you can't do. You may be having macular degeneration. You can't see well. There may be a lot of things in your house that you just can't even do anything with. It's silly to live that life. I keep saying this is the longevity genes that we're all trying to have. Why would you want to live longer and not have a better life? So, Jim, thank you. We've just run out of time. Be safe on your way back. We'll talk to you when you get back. But thank you very much for calling in. And remember, you can reach Jim and his organization at 561-392-4846. Make this the best day of your life. Call Jim Hansen and get some help.
Thanks, Anita.
Thanks, Jim. Bye. We'll